Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Mindy Banks. I'm the Flip Flop Chef. Today I'm going to show you how to make 3 more dishes for your Thanksgiving meal. So I hope you're excited to learn. We're going to make my mom's macaroni and cheese recipe, and it's a slow cooker version, but it can also be made in the oven, so I'll be sure to tell you both ways to do that. I'm also going to show you a candied yams recipe and also scalloped potatoes. So much to show you, but I've got a lot of this already prepped out, so it won't take very long. So I hope you guys are excited to see. Let's dive in. We're gonna do the macaroni and cheese first, and I've already cooked the pasta just to kind of get us a little step ahead. So this is Pampered Chef's Rock Crock Dutch oven. This is a 4-quart capacity. The Rock Crock itself can go in the microwave, the oven, the dishwasher, and also can be used on the stovetop. The lid can be used in all of those places. The Rock Crock itself can also go on your grill or your smoker without the lid. So I'm gonna set the lid aside for the moment just so that you guys can kind of see what I've already done. I've got 2 cups of macaroni noodles that I went ahead and cooked in the microwave using the Rock Crock. So this is a really quick and easy way to make macaroni or any pasta without having to watch it on the stovetop. So you're gonna measure out 2 cups of uncooked macaroni noodles, put it in your Rock Crock, cover it with water, microwave it. It's gonna take about 10 to 12 minutes, so my suggestion is to cook it for about 6 minutes, stir it halfway through, and then cook it another 5 or 6 minutes after that. Most of the water will absorb into the pasta, but if you have water that needs to be drained off, you'll wanna drain it off before the next step. So we're gonna mix all of the macaroni and cheese ingredients in this 4-quart plastic mixing bowl. We're going to cook the macaroni casserole actually in the Rock Crock with our slow cooker base, which I'll show you in just a second. But for now, let's go ahead and move our cooked macaroni out of the Rock Crock. So I cook this in the microwave uncovered. That's a really important thing to remember. You're not using the lid when you're cooking pasta because it will boil over in your microwave. So just leave the lid off, and you're gonna wanna stir it halfway through. Now, if you're doing a whole box of pasta, the general rule is gonna be 1 minute per ounce. So I'm gonna set this aside. I'll put my scoop and drain away, and I'm just gonna take a paper towel and just wipe the inside of this Rock Crock just to get some of that starch out, because we're gonna brush this with butter. So you don't necessarily have to wash this in between these steps just because we're going to be cooking the macaroni in here anyways. So I've got some butter that I melted a little bit ago. I've got a silicone basting brush here. I'm going to just brush this with butter. You could use spray, like if you wanted to use our kitchen spritzer and just spray oil on here, you can. I like the flavor the butter adds, so I use butter. And my mom uses butter, so we tend to do things the way our moms do them. So this is her recipe, so those of you watching that know my mom, you already probably have tried this. It is so easy, it's so delicious, and you can do it slow cooked or you can use it, excuse me, you can cook it on the stovetop. Excuse me, not on the stovetop, in the oven. Got sidetracked there. So this is our slow cooker stand. So you have a low, high, and a warm setting on here. We're gonna use the low setting. I'm not gonna turn this on yet. I'm just gonna set this out of the way for the moment, and we will use the lid when we start slow cooking. So we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients into this mixing bowl. So this again is just 2 cups of uncooked macaroni that we cooked in the Rock Crock. Transfer that over, and we're gonna add the other ingredients in. So I've got 2 eggs here. I'm just gonna whip these up with our mini whipper. So whisk your eggs. We're gonna add 2 kinds of milk. We're gonna use, I have 1%, you could use really anything. Even skim milk will probably work fine. But I have 1.5 cups of milk. Measured this in our Easy Read measuring cup. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in on the noodles. And then I'm gonna take a can of evaporated milk. I'm gonna use our can opener to open this. So I'm gonna put this up against the front of the can, twist to go all the way around. And when you bypass your starting point, you can take this off. And if you don't wanna use evaporated milk, you could use half and half instead. All right, so we're gonna pour the evaporated milk in. I have a teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna go ahead and toss that in. I'm gonna pour my eggs in and then give this a little stir. Set the can opener aside. So I'm gonna mix this together, and then we just have to add in our cheese, and cheese is the best ingredient. And I do use more cheese than my mom. So her recipe is 2 cups of sharp cheddar and 1 cup of medium cheddar. I do 2 cups of both. This is our Flex Plus food processor, and I've already shredded 1 block of cheese, and I'll show you how to do the second. So I believe this is the sharp cheddar, so I'm just gonna toss this in, and then we'll just fold this real quick, and then we'll get the next one, and we're gonna pour all of this in the rock crock. This is gonna cook on low for 3 hours, or you could put it in your oven at 350 and cook it for 45 minutes. On Thanksgiving specifically, I like to do this in the slow cooker because it frees up space in your oven, and when this is done, after the 3 hours, you can just turn it over to the warm setting and keep it warm until you're ready to serve it. All right, so let's put our post back in our Flex Plus, and I am using the coarse side. So one of these, you're not gonna be able to read this on the camera, but it says this side up for fine shredded cheese. We're gonna do a coarse grate, so we're gonna place the blade right in there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put our, whoops, I always do this backwards. Let's try this again. There we go. Depends on how I'm gonna hold this, right? So we're gonna take our coarse grating blade when we are shredding this cheese here, and I'm gonna take the whole block. I love that I don't have to pre-cut this, just put it right in like this. I will end up using the little food pusher to push this down, but we're gonna add our power handle. If you're not familiar with our Flex Plus, it's actually 3 appliances in 1. So we're using the food processor portion, but we have an immersion blender and a hand mixer that goes with this product. So this is the power handle. You're gonna use this for all 3 appliances. You just plug that in, and then this is the battery. You're gonna get 2 batteries and a battery charger. So we'll put one of those on there. I'll flip this around so you can see there's a safety switch on the back. After 5 seconds, these lights will go off. Press the safety switch to basically say you're ready to use this, and then you can adjust the speed and start shredding. Unless the recipe tells you different, you're going to use the highest setting. So we're gonna go ahead and start, and I like to just use my hands at first. All right. Now, what you want to remember is when you're using the food pusher and you're pushing food into the blades, whether you're using the slicing blade or the shredding blades, make sure you're not putting tons of pressure. You just barely need to put pressure on it, just pushing it and guiding it into the food processor. So we're going to take off the battery pack and the power handle, and we're going to open up the food processor here, take the blade out, and I find it easier to just pull the whole thing out. And I'm gonna set this, actually I'm gonna put this on here because I don't wanna cut myself, so I try to not put sharp things in my sink. So let's add the rest of the cheese. Now, if you wanna reserve some of this cheese for the top, you can do that. And I'm just gonna mix it all in. And if you're doing this in the oven, you could certainly sprinkle some on the top as well, just so that the top of it is actually, the cheese is what you're looking at. But all personal preferences, right? So we're gonna get this mixed up. This is my favorite macaroni and cheese recipe, probably because it's what I grew up on. My mom's a fantastic cook, so hi Mom. I hope you get to watch this video, and thank you for sharing all of your recipe expertise with me. All right, so we're gonna pour in the macaroni into the 4-quart Dutch oven rock crock. Let's see, put all that in there and scrape all that out. You cannot leave any cheese in the bowl. It's a sin to waste cheese. I don't know if you know that. Don't waste cheese or chocolate. Okay. I'm just gonna make sure this is completely mixed together, just to sort of evenly distribute that. And then we're gonna put this lid back on here. I'm gonna set this in the slow cooker base, and this is gonna go on low for 3 hours. So that's it for the macaroni and cheese. Really quick, really easy. Let me clean up my space here, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to make these candied yams. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Facebook. Just leave the comments and I'll be happy to answer you guys after the video is over. And be sure you're joining my recipe community. You can find it at theflipflopchef.com, and I have thousands of recipes there, and I also give away a prize every single Friday. Let me set this aside just to get it out of the way. All right, we're gonna make these candied yams next. We're gonna use one of our cast iron pieces. So I'm excited to try this recipe. I actually haven't made this one before, so I'm making this with you guys first today, and I'm sure it's gonna be delicious. If you see any products that you like, that you would like to add to your kitchen, I would love the opportunity to be your consultant and help you purchase those. My website link is going to be on all of my social channels, so you can click the Shop Now button anywhere that you are. If you have any trouble or you need help with your order, just reach out to me and I'm more than happy to help you over the phone. So for this recipe, what we're going to do is we're going to take, this recipe calls for 2 15-ounce cans of yams. This is a 29-ounce can, so that's close enough. I do all my shopping at Aldi at any time possible, and that's what they had there, so that's what we're going to use. We're going to open up this can with our smooth edge can opener, and we're going to strain the yams using our small stainless colander, and if it's right inside of our small glass mixing bowl. So if you don't have either of these sets, the stainless mixing bowls and the glass mixing bowl sets, or excuse me, stainless colanders and the glass mixing bowls, they were made to be used together and they fit together. I'm having the hardest time today gripping onto the cans. I don't know what's going on. So we're gonna strain these yams right in this colander, and then that way they go into the bowl here. And so what we're gonna do, this recipe, I'm actually gonna place this on top, place our cast iron piece on top of one of our sheet pans just in case this bubbles over. And so that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. Anytime you're doing something that might bubble over, put it on a sheet pan just to be safe. So we're gonna take these yams, I'm gonna toss them into this. This is our 1 quart enameled cast iron baker. In half just so that it lays in there a little bit better. There we go. I'll set this aside. Our hands off a little bit. We're going to take a stick of butter and we're going to cut it, slice it up with our quick slice. Let me grab a cutting mat here. And I'm going to take 1 stick of butter so you can see what I'm doing here. Cutting it in half. All right, and then we're going to take both halves and place them on our quick slice. Clean all this butter off my hands. And you're just going to gently rock the quick slice. Oops, I had that on the hanging off the corner there. Just sort of gently rock this. And then you're going to take these butter pats and we're just going to sort of lay them out on top of, oops, there we go, stick them together. Lay them around just like this. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands here. This recipe is so quick and so easy. If you would like, when this is over, when you finish cooking it, you can add some marshmallows on the top and put it on the broiler. I may do that, I haven't quite decided. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle 1 cup of brown sugar, and I have a ½ teaspoon of salt, so I'm going to sprinkle the salt first. Sprinkle that over the top. Then we're going to just sprinkle and crumble this brown sugar. Now you know why I wanted to put that sheet pan underneath here in case anything bubbles over, because this is going to be super full here. And the last thing you want is something burning in your oven. Now I am going to wipe off that brown sugar that I spilled, because you will smell that burning in the oven. So let me wipe that out. Okay, and now we're going to take, oops, I'm just going to wipe off those handles. We're going to take a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. Got brown sugar all over my fingers. and we're gonna use Pampered Chef's double strength vanilla for this, and this is a Madagascar bourbon vanilla, and it's double strength because we actually use twice the amount of vanilla beans in this. So what we're gonna do is just sort of drizzle this vanilla on the top, and I'm gonna use more than it says because I just love vanilla. And this is a limited time product, so it's only going to be available through the end of the year. So depending on when you watch this video, if you're catching the replay, hopefully this will still be available for you. All right, so we've got the vanilla extract drizzled over the top. We're going to put this in the oven. It's going to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes at 400. I'm going to set this aside. And then let me clean my workspace again. We're gonna make scalloped potatoes. So this is our last recipe for this video. This is a Pampered Chef recipe. So you can find it on my website, and it'll also be in my recipe community. So I'm gonna move my slow cooker. So if you guys wanna hang tight just a second, I need to use a burner. So I'm just gonna move this across the kitchen and plug it in over here. I'm going to need to use my cooktop for the next recipe. So we're going to make scalloped potatoes, and we're also going to use another cast iron piece. I love our cast iron pieces. They really are beautiful, and I think you're going to love this. You're going to get to see the Rapid Prep mandolin in action. So if you've never seen this one before, you're in for a treat. And I've got most of this stuff already prepped. So let me just get it all closer to me, and then we'll get this all put together. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we're going to measure out 3 cups. Let me move this just slightly more so that you guys have a really nice, nice view of what I am doing here. So we're going to take our milk pan. So this is our cast iron milk pan. We're going to put 3 cups of water in here. Excuse me, water, half and half. Not water, use half and half. So 3 cups of half and half. I'm going to measure this out in our Easy Read measuring cup. Stick this back in the fridge. All right, so 3 cups of half and half. We're going to put that right in the milk pan. And this is about the maximum that you're going to be able to fit in this milk pan, okay? So 3 cup capacity. Now the recipe calls for some fresh thyme. I actually have some fresh rosemary, so we're going to use that instead. I'm just going to toss that in there. And then I'm also going to add a teaspoon of salt. Pour that in, and I'm going to put this on our, oops, I have to put the pan on there for it to register. Let's see, there we go. So I'm going to put the half and half mixture, so this is half and half, 3 cups, with some fresh rosemary and some salt. We're going to just bring this to a medium-low heat until it comes to a simmer. And then I'm going to turn the heat off and just kind of let the thyme sort of just steep in there while we get the rest of this going. So let's move on to the potato part of this recipe. So Pampered Chef has this really awesome peeler set. So we have a julienne peeler, a regular peeler, and then we have a serrated peeler. I've gone ahead and peeled 3 potatoes. This recipe calls for about 2 pounds of russet potatoes. So anywhere between 3 to 4 medium-sized potatoes. So I've gone ahead and washed these. I left one so that I could show you how to peel it. I'm going to show you 2 of the peelers that we have here. So this is just your regular vegetable peeler, but then we have our serrated peeler, and I like the serrated peeler the best. I use it for most things. I just feel like those extra little teeth that are on there just really grip the, oops, gotta get a good hold on that. Get a good grip on whatever you're peeling. So I tend to gravitate more towards the serrated peeler, but if it's in the dishwasher, sometimes I'll grab the other one. But the serrated peeler is specifically good for foods that have a softer skin. So think kiwi, peaches, anything that a regular vegetable peeler is not going to do a very good job. We're going to take our Rapid Prep mandolin here, and I love this. I'm not going to go into great detail about this product in this video because I have a whole video that's dedicated just to this product. So if you want to learn a little bit more about it, definitely check that out on my channel. You can find that on YouTube. Just search for the Flip Flop Chef, and there's a little search bar there so that you can actually search for the video that you're looking for. We're going to take this kickstand out here like that, but right here on the back is actually the dials so that you can choose if you want this to be a slice, a julienne cut, or a French fry cut. So I'm going to turn this, oops, I always do it the wrong way, to just the slice, and then you have 8 different thicknesses. So I'm going to put this about in the middle. So I'm going to put this on a 4, and you'll notice that we have a perfect French fry cut and a perfect French fry cut over here and a perfect julienne cut over there. And we're going to stick this little food tray right in here. The handle pops up here, give you a little bit wider view, and there's a little door. Oops, it has suction cups on it too. So this little door pops open, and you're going to hook on your little food chute here, and then there's a little food pusher. So let's go ahead and start slicing this. And I am keeping an eye on my milk pan over here, and I will check that out as I need to, and if I need to turn the heat down or turn it off. But we're going to just slice these potatoes, and let me show you what we're getting here. So you're going to hear, I'm going to make a little bit of noise for just a second. So if it's something so big that you can't use that food pusher, I just put my hand on there until I get to where this will fit right in. All right, so we're running out of space here. Let me move some of these out to make room for one more. All right. And I'm going to give my little cream just a little stir. I think we're getting to where we want that to be. Let's do one more. I'm going to put this on low for just a second. All right. And this rapid prep mandolin is dishwasher safe. I'm going to take all these pieces apart, just set this aside. And again, more detailed video on my channel. So let's set these aside for the moment and clean up my workspace just a little bit. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to press a little bit of garlic into this melted butter. So I've got about a tablespoon of melted butter. I have 1 garlic clove, and I'm just going to press that. You don't have to peel it or anything. Scrape off the garlic, and then this little comb, you press it in, flip this over, and there is your peel. So I'm going to toss this in the trash, and our garlic press goes right in the dishwasher for easy cleanup. So we're going to use the 2-quart enameled, okay, oops, this got a little bit too hard. Let me put this in the microwave real quick. All right, so that'll actually cook that garlic just a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to brush this with the garlic butter, and that's going to keep this from sticking. Then we're going to put the potatoes in this baker, and we're going to pour on the half and half mixture that we have. Let me see if this is long enough here. Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do, mix this together, and then we're just going to brush this. So the garlic is going to give it a little bit extra flavor, and the butter is going to keep this from sticking to the sides. Oh, this smells so good. Okay. Just make sure that you're coating the edges too. We're going to layer our potatoes in there, get our cream mixture on top, and then we're going to put some Parmesan cheese on there. and bake this. So let's go ahead and put our potatoes in here. I'm not gonna like go to a lot of trouble to like make these look really pretty, but if you wanna arrange them in a certain order, by all means, go for it. I tend to take the fastest route possible, not just in cooking, but in all things. If you know my personality, if you know me at all, that does not surprise you, I'm sure. All right, so we're gonna put these in, take out a couple of those pieces that weren't so pretty. And this is another recipe that you're gonna wanna cook on a sheet pan. So before I pour the cream in, I'm gonna transfer this over onto a sheet pan. So let's dry my hands a little bit and grab this sheet pan. And we're gonna cover this with foil too, so I have that foil handy. So we're gonna put this right here. And then we're gonna turn this off, and I'm just going to take out, whoops, I didn't change the view of the camera, excuse me. So I turned off the cream mixture, and I'm just gonna take out that rosemary, and I'm just gonna toss it in the trash, and there's a little bit left behind there. And remember, this recipe did call for fresh thyme, but I had fresh rosemary, so I just improvised. You could use either one. I'm sure it's gonna taste great with the fresh rosemary, and I feel like that kind of goes along with the Thanksgiving flavors anyways. So let's get our, I'm just gonna check this pan. I don't think it's too warm for me to handle, but I'm gonna grab a towel just to be safe. And we're gonna pour this mixture right over the top. Yum. Just spread this around a little bit. And then we're going to put some fresh shredded Parmesan cheese. So let me slide this out of the way for the moment. And we're going to use our double-sided grater for this. So the double-sided grater, you have kind of not your fine grate, but not a coarse grate, and then we have the super coarse on the other side. Now I like to put this in one of our coating trays. It does come with a small dish, but I prefer using this one. However way you want to do it's fine. And we're just going to shred our Parmesan cheese, top it on top of our scalloped potatoes. And this also comes with a food holder, so if you're using a smaller piece of cheese and you don't want to get your fingers close to the blade, always make sure that you're paying attention to where your fingers are so that you don't cut yourself. This is a delicious recipe. The first time I made this, my dad was in town, and we were both just sopping up all the liquid from this recipe because we didn't want to leave anything. It was so good. All right. Set this aside, and let's clean up. I'm always having to clean my little workspace here. We're going to take our scalloped potatoes, sprinkle this right on the top. Like, this recipe is just too easy, you guys. Okay. And then we're going to wrap this with foil. And I'm going to cheat. We're going to cover this with foil and bake it for 40 minutes at 400 degrees. And then, oh, I actually did this step in the wrong order. We're supposed to bake that without the cheese, without the foil. So this is probably going to stick to the foil, but that's all right. If you want to add more cheese, you can. I did it in the wrong order. But so you're supposed to bake it covered with the foil for 40 minutes and then uncover until the cheese is lightly browned for another 15 to 20 minutes, and then let them cool for 10. So I'll make sure this recipe is in the recipe community, and you can also find it on my Pampered Chef website. So we've got our scalloped potatoes, our macaroni and cheese, and then our candied yams. So I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them for you there, and I hope to see you in my recipe community at theflipflopchef.com. I'll see you next time.